So just days after Porsha Williams played in Real Housewives of Atlanta's face and gave People magazine an exclusive, crying about losing her fantasy love and saying how she can finally exhale now that her divorce is final, her ex-husband, Simon Guobadia, decided to give his side of the story to Page Six, recounting how Porsha took advantage of his vulnerability while he was divorcing Falynn, and then blindsided him with the divorce. And the first thing that popped in my mind is, who's zooming who? Take a look and tell me, baby, who's zooming who? Because both of these players are now pretending to be the victims in their own sordid little fairy tale.
Whoa, girl, you got that right on. You got it, because you know what? When I saw that, I said, Simon, bye. Okay. I said, go away, get out of here, because you know what? You trying to say that you were some sort of victim?
Oh my God.
No.
It's too much.
It's too much, okay? You got from her what you thought you were going to get, and she got from you what she thought she was going to get, okay?
Exactly.
Or maybe not so. Either way it goes. You all were both trying something, okay? I think this is a mutual situation here.
Yeah.
Especially since he came out with all this blindsided mess and saying stuff like he was
targeted.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, something's not adding up here, Simon, because all of a sudden you're quick to say this is what has happened to you. But you know, I was thinking, what if he was trying to do that to her? And she just happened to see it and get out fast, you know?
Gotcha, bitch.
She happened to see it. Something went on.
Girl.
And I think she got out. She knew something was going on. I keep going back to when she said she looked at his face and something immediately, she detected something.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God. What is that?
That girl was never in it for love. I know she's trying to give that idea, put that illusion out there that she started it. No. Like you said, they both went into this for the wrong reasons. And she just outsmarted him in the end.
Yes, she did.
He thought that she was going to get over on her, and she thought that she was going to get over on him, and now they just both in the same position. Because whether or not she even sees any of that prenuptial agreement from him is anyone's guess. Because not only did he say he's appealing the judge's decree on the divorce settlement, he said he's appealing it to the highest court. But also, this man has been sent back to his home country. So there's no way they can enforce him even paying the $40,000 a month or the maintaining of the house in Georgia.
Exactly.
So if she's even going to get anything out of it besides her freedom at this point is anyone's guess.
And that's the only place I can see she came out a winner in this, you know, because the way he was talking, girl, he even said to the interviewer, oh, he is 1,000% appealing this.
Exactly.
So, you know, if he's in the process of appealing, you know that man ain't shoving out one dime.
Nope.
And so that doesn't make her come out the winner in the financial aspect of
right.
it. But it does make her come out the winner of getting the heck up out of there because something went wrong. She saw something.
Exactly.
And she got up out of that. And he's mad because she saw something and she got the heck up out of that, because this man came in too strong. He came in too strong. For him to be so quick to say he was targeted, I think that's what he tried to do to Porsha. Look, she knew Simon was up to something, because as she said, in that situation where they were due to talk about the financial aspects of something or some papers or something, it was something she said regarding some important papers.
Right.
And she looked over him and she saw something in his face that said that he had checked out. Well, I believe he saw that he wasn't going to get over on her
Right.
like he had thought.
Yeah.
Because he is the first one to say that he was targeted.
They got him.
The way this man is talking, this could go on for who knows how long, and he could not even pay her anything.
Exactly. Based on what happened with Falynn and that settlement that she got, that girl walked away with less than $200,000 from this man who's supposed to be a millionaire several times over. They said her settlement was $50,000 broken into 2 installments, and then a portion of over $153,000 in profit from a property. She literally got less than $200,000 from him. And with the way Porsha's divorce settlement is setting up, Simon even called it. He said he basically took on a $5 million rehab project, because with the $40,000 for 14 months plus him paying all the expenses for that home for 3 years, he's saying that's going to end up being around $5 million. But it's like the fact that he called this a rehab project,
trying to refer to Porsha as that.
Yeah, like
that's
he was Captain Save or something. Like he was rehabilitating her.
No, that's a lot of nerve, because he wanted to brag about the fact that he's always done right by his previous financial things to his ex-wives, and as you pointed out, no, because that little amount that he gave that girl,
right,
Falynn,
yes,
that little amount, that adds up to not
nothing.
A whole lot. It adds up to not a whole lot. So he want to point to that as some sort of kudos. Oh, I've always paid what I needed to pay. That was nothing to brag about.
No, it wasn't.
Okay?
And
you know what?
What?
He did it because he wanted to remain here.
Exactly.
Okay? But now, look, he has nothing to keep him paying that, or to even start him to pay that.
Exactly.
Because he is in his own country now.
Exactly.
How can it be enforced?
Right.
So, he can't use that as kudos. Oh, I've always paid this. Man, that was nothing.
It was nothing.
That was nothing.
Nothing at all.
So that is nothing to look at and say, oh, I've paid everything. Well, we see now, we know he's not paying this.
Exactly.
He's going to 1,000% appeal it. Oh, 1,000%. And you know why he's doing that? He don't have to shove out one red cent.
No, he doesn't.
And he has no incentive for doing it, because he's not in this country anymore.
No.
So, of course he had the incentive for Falynn, because he was in this country. He wants to remain in this country. So he wanted to be seen as doing the right thing. But doing the right thing for that little thing he gave her? What?
No. And Falynn did an interview with Tisa Tells back when all this was happening, I think around 2021 or so. And she said that Simon had paid her rent 12 months in advance at some apartment complex. And she only stayed there for 3 months before she got the heck out and got her own place. And who is going to leave 9 months of security on the table? It was paid for 9 months just so she can go and shell out money elsewhere, which means there was some strings attached to that. So not only did she barely get anything in the divorce settlement, but then what she did get had strings attached.
Yeah, something was up there, because I said the same thing. I said, wait a minute, he paid a year's rent for that place, and she left after 3 months. There were some strings attached.
Had to be.
And she, again, comparing now, she got out of there for her freedom.
Exactly.
Okay? And she didn't care anything about that money. She got out of there for her freedom. That's where I say Porsha has won.
Yeah.
She got out of this for her freedom. Porsha saw something, okay? And she said, let me get out of here. But his problem was that he was mad that she saw what she saw. And he said, oh, it's done. So he couldn't fleece her.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
She got the heck up out of there, because he came out too strong, talking about he was targeted, talking about he was blindsided,
right,
calling her a rehab project. He's given a whole lot of stuff that's telling something.
Exactly. And I see what you're saying. So whatever her initial game plan was, she saw something right in that moment.
Yes.
That made her have to immediately, switch the terms and change things around and get out.
Yes.
Because maybe he was getting ready to pull who knows
what happened.
was. But I think she had intended on at least staying in there longer than 14 months.
Yeah, but hey.
So she saw something.
Yes, she did.
Yep, she saw something.
You know what? There is no victim here.
No.
She got what she got because this man even said they were engaged after 3 months.
After 1 month. 1 month after his divorce, they were engaged. It's like.
See,
what?
Okay, and then he had the nerve to use profanity when he described that he was, who does that? Out of his mind. I'm like, no. You knew that was wrong because you were up to something.
Exactly.
And that girl later on discovered something that said she's out of there.
Right.
And then for you to say she didn't tell you about the divorce. Well, when someone is running for their very lives, why would she stop and tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen? And for you to, do some little scheming or whatever have you. No, this is the one time I would say she was smart.
Yeah, she
got out of there.
She got out there. Like,
She got out of there. She saw something.
And
he mad. He mad.
Yep. Exactly.
He mad. Why he so mad? Because look at it. As it stands, this stuff that is on paper is just that. It's on paper. He hasn't had to pay anything as of now.
Right.
He's in the process of appealing. So why are you so mad?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't had to shove out anything right now. And according to you, you won't, because this appeal is going to be, you're going to do this to the 1,000%.
Right.
Okay, so
no.
It's
a reason he's mad.
Girl,
it's given is cool when he does it, but it's a problem when someone else does it to him.
Oh,
that's what it's given.
That's how that works.
That's what it's given.
That's how that works.
He was throwing everything at her, because you guys know that story of how Porsha was trying to say that, oh no, she didn't take him and it wasn't any overlap between her and Falynn and all that. She was like, oh no, she found out that he was going through divorce, so she slid into his DMs and said she's praying for him. And then so now Simon is using this story against her.
Yeah.
Basically saying she slid into his DM with a prayer, trying to act like she preyed upon him with the God talk. They both chose to act dishonorably, without integrity in that situation, and now they're both reaping the consequences of the actions.
Exactly. And as you said, speaking of choice, so she got into your DMs. You didn't have to do anything with that.
Exactly.
You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to fledge full head on into a relationship with this person.
Exactly.
So you want to put it all on her now. Sir, what was your motive?
Right, because obviously he doesn't have a reverence or respect for God. So what does it matter that she slid in there with the prayer when he now in his interview is talking about he was out of his mind,
gonna using the Lord's name in vain.
So it's like, no, you trying to put this on her. Oh, she prayed upon me. It was all for financial gain. He was targeted for financial reasons. Well, how does it feel?
Exactly. And it was something that the Breakfast Club mentioned too. One of the persons on there said something to the fact that, look, you used her, and for whatever reason, she used you.
Right.
So now you want to come back and play the victim. She was presentable to you. You saw what you liked.
Exactly.
You saw what she was prancing. You saw that. You selected that. You used her, and like I said, for whatever reason, I do not know why she got into that with you.
We know why.
Okay.
She may want to say that's not the reason why, but
I know, but it's
thought he was doing more than he was doing with as far as money was concerned. That's what I think. That's the reason I think that she got into it with him, because she thought it was something else. Yeah, she even in part of that People magazine exclusive, she said something about how she loved being able to not have to go out of state to do this gig and that gig, and know that her Simon was paying for everything and taking care of it. So she definitely, appreciated what she thought were going to be the financial benefits of being with him.
But yeah, like I said, she did appreciate that. However,
she saw something. And
he's mad that she saw something
and got
out of there.
Because what did she see though? That is the interesting thing. According to her story, I mean, however much of it you can believe is up to you, whatever. But she said she wanted legal representation in some legal documents that he wanted her to sign, or that they had to sign, and he didn't want her to have her own representation.
Yeah, see?
Then she looked and she saw that look in his eyes at that point, and she knew that he had checked out of the marriage, that this wasn't the same man she married, and she was saying all that. So what do you think? What did he try to maybe re-up the prenup? Because you guys remember, I don't know if you all follow Potomac, but Michael Darby did something like that to Ashley Darby.
Oh yeah.
During the middle of their marriage, he ended up trying to get her to do a prenup that was less than the prenup she had originally agreed upon.
Yes.
So maybe Simon was trying to do that, trying to get out of that prenup that Porsha made him sign before they got married.
Girl.
It could have been something like that. I don't know.
I mean,
whatever it was, she was like,
She said, and you know what? I'm going to give it to her on this for getting her prenup done for herself. Because look at this. I mean, this man was up to something.
Yeah.
Okay? That's it. That's all.
All right, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.